Microsoft 365 in practice.
Hi, Darius. How's everything going?
Well, it's the first week of September, and for the first time in a long time, I'm not going to any school. Not college, not high school, not university, not trade school. I'm never going to trade school, though.
So is University of Victoria doing classes remotely?
Yeah, UVic and Camosun are both doing classes remotely, but it mostly just results in a lot of more homework and lectures being pretty boring because you can't ask questions, really.
Oh, okay. Well, so today's episode is really similar to that because first of all, it'll be really boring. Oh, wait, maybe not. And our fine viewers can't ask questions. But
Are you just gonna spoil it, huh?
just spoil it, just ruin everything. But and the name, of course, is modeled after a university course name. Did you catch that?
Philosophy 365, like Math 101. So we're doing a very advanced philosophy course today, huh?
No, not advanced. It's the 365 is Microsoft 365. And since we're doing, Microsoft 365 in practice, I thought it'd be useful to talk a bit more generally about the way of thinking around Microsoft 365, not just the technology.
The 365 school of thought.
Yes, I like it. I like it. So, yeah, we've talked a lot about the technology that makes up 365. So today we're going to talk about the way of thinking that I share with my clients and use myself just to help the process of migrating and using and adopting Microsoft 365. Like many things, maybe everything in life, Microsoft 365 is a double-edged sword. It both brings benefits and costs or challenges. For example, there are a lot of tools in Microsoft 365 included, but the sheer volume and quantity of these tools can be daunting and confusing. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's talk about some of the ways of thinking that can help us use and adopt Microsoft 365. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready, Jerry. I'm ready.
All right. So first of all, it's a subscription-based model. Because Microsoft 365 is subscription-based, you can purchase it and start using it right away. So that's great because there's no lead time. You don't have to go down to Future Shop and buy a shrink-wrapped box and start sliding CDs into your server for an hour.
What's Future Shop?
What's Future Shop? Oh, sorry. That's a thing of the past.
You mean like Best Buy, right?
Yeah. Anyway, the point is
Okay.
that this is software as a service. Have you heard that term before?
Software as a service. So that's what SaaS stands for, right? And it's like the
Yes.
same as cloud-based stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and quite different than the SaaS that you always give me. This is SaaS, software as a service. And yeah, it is cloud, but the cloud is a really overused term. So I'm cautious about using the term cloud. But the point is with software as a service, you purchase the rights to use Microsoft 365, but the actual software is installed on Microsoft servers and we access it remotely from the internet. So Microsoft sets up the servers, slides in the CDs, they go to Future Shop, I guess, hey?
No, they don't.
They don't? Oh, okay, just checking.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. So also keep in mind this subscription model, or SaaS, means that it is highly scalable. Sometimes people forget that they can cancel and add licenses to 365 as their staff size shrinks or grows. So you can save money by doing this, right? So I always recommend, and I'll recommend to our viewers, that consider including Microsoft 365 management as part of your onboarding and offboarding business processes. So next I want to talk about embracing the change. One of the main challenges of Microsoft 365 is often presented as one of its main benefits. And this is the fact that since you sign up for a SaaS, and so Microsoft updates their servers, you always get the latest and greatest version of your software. If you're on version X of Microsoft Office, you don't need to wait for and then go out and purchase version X+1 when it comes out. You automatically get it, right?
It's always up to date.
Yeah, that's the upside, always up to date. The downside is it's always changing. You could be, and I've seen this over and over again, you could open up Outlook in the morning and now the way the screen is laid out is different, where there's an additional feature that you didn't have before. Now, the truth of the matter is Microsoft 365 lets you know when those changes are coming, but not everybody reads those notices.
So read the notices.
Yeah. So I've been using Microsoft 365 since it first came out, right? And so after a while, I've gotten used to that feeling of, oh, that's suddenly a little bit different, especially in SharePoint. I can't tell you how many trainings and conferences I've been to where the instructor is at the front of the room and goes, oh, that worked this morning when I tested it in my hotel room, and now it doesn't. And that's not just once or twice, that's happened a lot of times.
That's actually happened in our video series with stuff like lists.
That's right. That's right. So we've seen it. Our faithful viewers have seen that already. So this constant change and the occasional breaking of things, I'm going to say occasional breaking of things, is very unnerving if you're not prepared for it. So those self-same experts that I was mentioning earlier, or presenters, that they note the changes with surprise and then laugh it off with a shrug and carry on. That's because we've decided that the trade-off between constant change and constantly new is worthwhile. So if constancy is important to you and change is upsetting, then Microsoft 365 might not be the tool for you, or again, include in your business processes how you embrace that change and make sure your staff and yourself can be on top of the change as it comes through. I recall that it was only a few months ago that the whole product suite changed from Office 365 to Microsoft 365. So yeah, change. So next, I just want to talk about the immensity of Microsoft 365. Is that a word? Immensity. As you know, there is a lot to Microsoft 365. There are many different apps, and we've touched on this on our first or second video. We present an overview of all the different apps, right, Darius?
Oh yeah, yes. There's a big screenshot of all of the apps and you talk about them.
So there's many different apps such as SharePoint, Teams, Office apps, Power Automate, Forms, MyIQ, Find Time. The list goes on and on. But for me, this is exciting because I feel like there's so many toys in my toy box, and I get all this value for money. For my $10 a month, I get all of these tools. And I love technology. So, but for some people, that is just daunting, opening up that waffle menu and seeing all of these different apps. This is actually the primary reason we started this Microsoft 365 in Practice video series, is to try and demystify some or all of these tools.
You can't use the tools if you don't know what they do and you're too overwhelmed to use them. Try them out.
That's right. Yeah. And again, change is difficult, right? So again, the upside is we get a lot of value for our money, but the downside is that you need to wade through a lot of options before figuring out what you need. Or you have to learn a lot of different tools before understanding what you have. In fact, sometimes there are multiple tools to do similar things, like we looked at in our Forms video about Power Apps, Excel, and Microsoft Forms can all be used to create forms. So you choose which one.
Why don't you watch our videos on the subject and come to an informed conclusion?
Oh, an informed conclusion. So think about that hugeness of 365, if you can, of the richness of the tool set, and try not to be thinking about how daunting it is. So next, let's talk about Ubiquity. Yeah, because it's a cloud-based service, you have access to Microsoft 365 anywhere you have an internet connection. And I'll tell you, this starts to get normal very quickly, but it's included in this philosophy because you need to change the way you think about how you and maybe your staff work. I've had several discussions recently where people are surprised how well they have adapted to working remotely. It's actually something I've been doing for a long time, so it doesn't surprise me, but it is a new philosophy, a new way of thinking to say, yeah, I can just click on Teams and I can be chatting with Darius instantaneously with video and voice and recording that and sharing my screen. In some ways, even better. And this is something that I've been rattling around for a while, is that when I do trainings, sometimes it feels it's easier to do it via Teams as opposed to a classroom. You don't have all the technology to set up. You don't have to travel to the classroom. And I can share my screen really easily and record really easily. And a lot of those things are not as easy in the classroom.
Some people think working remotely might become the new norm even after COVID.
I think it's here to stay in a far greater way than it used to be, for sure. Think about accessing 365 from your phone or your tablet or your laptop when you're on the road. That can be a great productivity booster. But I want you to think about your philosophy here is that you can access it from anywhere, anytime, but that doesn't mean that you should. So you might need to manage that. It's not, I'm not at work anymore because I'm not at the office, because I've got my office in my hand. So think about how you manage that. And sometimes that means communicating to your staff and your colleagues to say, there's certain times I'm not available. Even though I do have my phone with me, I'm not going to answer work emails or answer Teams chats and that sort of thing. I in fact recommend turning your phone off or putting it on Do Not Disturb during family time or having some downtime, and encouraging your staff to do the same. It's actually important to find that balance.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the upside of having the technology in your pocket is like me typing this right now on my iPhone. This is me reading the script. Is that you can slip a little productivity in while waiting for the bus or waiting for your lunch, or in this case, waiting for my friends to arrive. The last thing I want to talk about in this Microsoft 365 philosophy is embracing training. And this underpins it all. So I'm closing with this as being sort of the most important thing. Darius, I know that you know, and others of our viewers may know, that I got into SharePoint and then 365 through a training school that I used to run. So maybe I'm biased, but I believe that in order to use these tools well, you have to really embrace a philosophy of always be learning. The term that I like that I pulled out of a book was ask, always seeking knowledge. So taking a stance of curiosity rather than fear around these tools when something new comes out, and you see that example I gave about you open up Outlook and there's a new button. Instead of going, what? They changed it. Embrace the learning and go, I wonder what that new button does. And learn about it. And then you can share it with your colleagues and that sort of thing. Maybe set aside some time weekly to explore the different tools, or watch videos, or read about Microsoft 365, or do online trainings, so that you can always be learning and always seeking knowledge. That stance of curiosity has served me well, so I really recommend to really apply it to Microsoft 365.
Hey, I'm Jerry Brimacombe, and this has been another episode of Microsoft 365 in Practice. Please let me know if you have any questions, and your comments and subscriptions are welcome. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.